I'm Mark Greenstein, candidate for governor, and thereby candidate for overseeing a fairly large bureaucracy. So I want to define good, because I also use that frequently when I am parsing good work and good workers from not so good. So to me, a good worker is skilled, is assiduous, is passionate, often takes work home, improves her or his skills. Notice, it is not necessarily a worker who's well educated. It is not necessarily a worker who is well spoken, doesn't need a big resume. I've been hiring people for almost 20 years in private business. I rarely look at resumes, okay? I ask, literally, in one paragraph, why are you good? Define as you like. The few people in my office that I know where went to college, they volunteered it. Okay, otherwise I don't even know. I even hire teachers. That's actually the bulk of my work for Ivy Bound. I don't know where most of my teachers went to school, and I don't care. Are they good teachers? Do they have a threshold score that is needed to teach this test? I'd like to apply that in state hiring too. I think that state hiring can be done a lot like my form of private hiring, where I give people a tryout. For 2 weeks, here's the work, ask questions as needed, go at it, see if you like it. Meanwhile, we see if we like you. 2-week trial at fairly low pay, but better than none, and a lot faster than a long, involved interview process that frequently ends up with no's and disappoints everybody. Much better way. Once upon a time, state work was often a repository for not so talented people. There were not so adept individuals. There were ex-cons. There were low educated people. There were emotionally troubled people. And the state had a place for them. I'm not sure that's a horrible thing even now, but then call it what it is. That would be workfare. It's not the kind of state workforce I want. But it is the possibility of a state giving a hand up that somebody takes and does really well and thrives in my department. Or maybe even goes on to some other department outside in private industry, and I've helped them. Workfare therefore helps the state and helps the individual. That's a beautiful thing. The system of good work among people is what actually can make individuals who come in with not so good work skills better. Look at football, since it's in evidence to so many of us. The most successful team of this century, like them or not, is the Patriots. And you've heard next man up. The term that Bill Belichick and others have used that, hey, we lost somebody to injury or free agency or he quit. Next guy, you're now slotted in and you're going to perform really well, and they tend to actually do that. Go back a couple decades. Most successful team of the 80s, the 49ers. They were in a system under Bill Walsh, fairly unique. He took it from Stanford, he applied it to the 49ers, an offense that was so different. Now it's become standard. It was called then the West Coast offense. Now we pretty much all have it. And this is how people from all kinds of college and pro backgrounds got into a system that was remarkably successful. And you can even go back another decade, most successful team of the 70s, the Steelers, okay? And I've heard anyway, Terry Bradshaw saying, you're in my program now. We're going to work together better than you've ever seen. I love that guy. He's in my cabinet if I get elected. We can learn a lot from football. I relish reports on football. You've probably seen my list of other players who would be involved in my cabinet. An example of team work that works irrespective of background. So please, if you hear me say good, it applies to talents, not background. It's a better system for us all. I'm Mark Stewart, looking forward to having you either in the system or being a beneficiary of it.